Collegiate Gymnastics. This is session 1 of the Women's Collegiate Gymnastics National Invitational Championship. This afternoon, 4 teams will compete in hopes of advancing to tomorrow night's team final. The top 2 scoring teams from this session will join the top 2 teams from the evening session in the team final Saturday at 7 p.m. Also competing today are individual event qualifiers who, alongside our 2 competitors, will be vying for a top 5 placement to compete in the individual event finals on Sunday at 1 p.m. There will be a lot of exciting gymnastics going on. So, without further ado, let's meet the 4 teams that are here for this afternoon's competition. First up, from Greenville, Illinois, making their first appearance at this national championship, the Greenville University Panthers. Let's meet the Panthers gymnasts, Faye Jones, Ellery Gilmer, Valeria Arai, Emma Brannon, Rachel Miller, Ellie Schneider, Amara Nelson, Isabella Feltman, Madison Carter, Madison Ford, Ashley Lee, and Alessia Russo. The head coach for the Panthers is Aditi Grenier. She's assisted by Caitlin Kleiner. Ladies and gentlemen, the Greenville University Panthers. Next, from Cape Girardeau, Missouri, the Southeast Missouri State University. All right. Here's our second team from Britain. Oh, here they are. We got it. Let's go. There are the Red Hawks from Southeast Missouri State University. Please welcome the Red Hawk gymnast, Jaden Kassouf, Madison Green, Savannah Poulos, Naya Reeder, Tracy Jones, Janelle Lopez, Hailey Keene, Olivia Cuba, Lindsay Ockler, Caitlin Hamilton, Courtney Henry, Annalie Phillips, Amelia May, Jordan Napolitano, Jocelyn Hernandez, Leah Parton, Sydney Crouch, Taylor Eagle, and Ava Johnston. The head coach for the Red Hawks is Ashley Lawson. She's assisted by Lydia Tess and Kira Botel. Ladies and gentlemen, the SEMO Red Hawks. Now, third team, New Haven B, Collegiate University Owls. Please welcome the Owl gymnasts, Libby Allen, Hannah Fitzgerald, Angelina Stanfa, Haley Fitzgerald, Angel Lee, Tracy Christensen, Alexa Melanson, Bree Dorr, Kylie Day, Gabriella Denishoe, Erica Fire, Hannah Zeppi, Zoe Here are your purple knights, Siwamara Jennings, Tamara Singletary, Catherine McCoy, Tracy Walker, Taylor Pettit, Hannah Barrett, Nova Stark, Lola Sepulveda, Olivia Imarina, Lena Thompson, Skylar Bolton, Ray Solis, Maggie Coyle, Emily Hernandez, Ryan Tompkins, Emily Turner, Abigail Kenny, Madeline Biles, Taylor Rendina, Molly McKelvey, Nicole Pujol, Quinn Easton, Hannah Taylor, Samantha Noakes, Kieran Ross, Brooklyn Weingart, Samantha Trenchel, and Savannah Lindley. The head coach for the Purple Knights is Lorraine Gallo. She's assisted by Alexis Richardson and Sarah Cruz. And ladies and gentlemen, the Bridgebrook Purple Knights. Time now to meet our individual qualifiers. First from Fisk University. Please welcome the Bulldog gymnast, Liberty Mora, Allie Berkeley, Sanaya Roseby. Fisk is coached by Naria Mack. She is assisted by Courtney Chittery and Naya Mack. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fisk University Bulldogs. And making their debut this season and at this championship, please welcome the Wilberforce University Bulldogs. Representing the Bulldogs today, Diamond Copp. Wilberforce is coached by Dr. Morgan Bird. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise, remove your caps, and direct your attention to the American flag hanging in the Gold Dome. We will pause now to honor our country and those who serve here and abroad with the playing of our Star-Spangled Banner.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the Gold Dome in Shreveport, Louisiana, home of the Centenary College of Louisiana and the site for the 2025 Women's Collegiate Gymnastics National Invitational Championship. Today begins 3 days of competition here in Shreveport. It is session number 1, the afternoon semifinals. I'm Kevin Copp alongside former Southern Connecticut State gymnast Kate Aberger. And Kate, always an exciting time when you get to hand out both both a team national championship trophy. That will be tomorrow night. Some individual hardware coming on Sunday, and we get set to start the semifinals here. Should be a lot of excitement this weekend.
Yes, for sure. I graduated from Southern Connecticut State back in 2018, and this meet was always my favorite meet to compete at. I can already feel the energy in the arena. I'm so excited to watch and root on all the teams today.
A new name, but a familiar competition, formerly known as USAG, is now the Women's Collegiate Gymnastics National Invitational Championship. But we want to thank our sponsor, which is our title sponsor, USA Gymnastics. Their support has allowed this championship to thrive over the past 40-plus years. And USA Gymnastics is coming to Chicago, Illinois, Saturday, July 19th for the 2025 U.S. Classic. The U.S. Classic features an elite field of junior and senior gymnasts and is the final qualifying event for the 2025 Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships, which serve as USA Gymnastics' annual national championship, which is scheduled for August 7th to 10th in New Orleans. The U.S. Classic is being held in conjunction with the 2025 Hopes Championships, a national-level event featuring rising stars from the women's artistic discipline in the 11, 12, and 13, 14-year-old age divisions. Past winners of the Classic include Olympic champions Simone Biles, Amanda Borden, Dominique Dawes, Gabby Douglas, Lori Hernandez, Shawn Johnson, Nastia Lukin, Carly Patterson, J.C. Phelps, Allie Raceman, Kyla Ross, and Jordan Weber. For more information, go to usagymclassic.com/info or usagym.org. And the U.S. champs are coming to New Orleans, Louisiana, just a bit down the road from where we are here in Shreveport today at the Smoothie King Center. 4 days of competition beginning on Thursday, August 7th with day one of the men's competition. The women get started on Friday, August 8th. The men wrap up with day two of their competition on Saturday, August 9th, and the women have day two on Sunday, August 10th. Tickets for the 2025 Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships will be announced soon. We also want to thank Hygo Apparel. Hygo Apparel is a pioneering force in the realm of gymnastics, leotards, and apparel, setting the bar for excellence and innovation. Check out their website at hygoapparel.com to order the official leotard of Women's Collegiate Gymnastics National Invitational Championship. Please see the video description for more information. All right, as we get set for rotation number one, this is our competition order. Greenville draws the home order or Olympic order. They'll start on vault. They'll go to bars, beam, and finish on floor. Southern Connecticut State will begin on the uneven bars. Southeastern Missouri, the top-ranked team in the afternoon semifinal, gets their day started on balance beam, and Bridgeport, the number 2 seed in this afternoon's competition, will start on floor exercise. Each team will rotate over the course of the 4 rotations through all 4 events. Greenville vault, Southern Connecticut State bars, SEMO on beam, and Bridgeport on floor is how we begin rotation 1. And Kate, let's get to know these teams a little bit better, and we'll start with Greenville. They are, again, starting on vault, going in home order today. They are coached by Anik Grenier, Utah State gymnast who has taken this program now for the first time ever to this stage, the Women's Collegiate Gymnastics National Invitational Championship. It is just the 3rd season as a program, so already history being made, and we'll see what Greenville is able to do here in competition. Zachary Peters, their assistant coach, and look inside the numbers for Greenville. They are the 4th seed in today's afternoon competition, 78th overall in the country with a NQS score of 189.055. Their high score this year, an upper 191 or a lower 191, 191.175. They'll look to top that to keep pace with some of the top teams in competition this afternoon. So as we move from Greenville, Kate, let's check in with your alma mater, Southern Connecticut State.
Southern Connecticut's going to start on the bars today. They are coached by Jerry Nelson, who has been the head coach at Southern for a cumulative 17 years. And they have assistant coaches Isabella Antonangeli, Wes Norris, and Kaya Johnson, who formerly led her alma mater, the LSU Tigers, to their most recent NCAA National Championship last year. SCSU has not had the opportunity to compete at a national postseason meet as a team very often. They've typically just sent individuals, so qualifying as a team this year is super exciting.
Huge opportunity for them, and you look at the high score, 191.8, so they've pushed that 192 mark this year, and we'll see what kind of performance they have in store here. They are the number 3 seed in this afternoon's competition. We'll go starting on beam, Southeastern Missouri. They are the 2021 champions of this event back when it was known as USAGs. And Kate, they have high expectations for themselves here in 2025.
Certainly. SEMO shared that they're just trying to be confident today, stay composed under pressure, attended the details routine after routine to put up a great score.
And you look at their high score, 194.725. That is the highest of any of the 4 teams competing here this afternoon, and it came in their last competition at MIC's at their conference championship, so they are bringing some momentum with them into today's meet. And last but certainly not least of the teams competing here in session number 1, it is Bridgeport opening on floor. They are coached by Lorraine Gallo, Alexis Richardson, JC Leagy, and Sarah Pruill are the coaching staff for Bridgeport. They enter 61st in the country overall in NQS of 193.325. They have hit that 194 mark this year. That's going to be kind of the magic number as we look at qualification out of this semifinal. Of course, we don't know exactly how it's going to shake out, but 194 puts you in really good shape. Bridgeport has gotten there this year. They will try to get there again this afternoon. Now, it's not just teams competing. We also have individuals in both semifinal sessions. Fisk and Wilberforce, the 2 schools represented. Fisk with a trio of athletes. We'll get to see Sanaya Rosby across multiple events today. Allie Berkeley and Liberty Mara representing the Fisk Bulldogs. And for Wilberforce, making some history as they appear in this championship for the first time, Diamond Cook will be on floor exercise, and we will get to see her in rotation number 1 as she's going to rotate with Bridgeport and open on floor. So some exciting history being made for Wilberforce and for Greenville. First ever time competing here at the WCGNICs. And Kate, we're just a few minutes away from getting underway in our first rotation. And you can attest the nerves, the excitement when you have an opportunity here to advance to tomorrow and potentially compete for a national title. This is about as good as it gets, and now it's about handling the pressure and being able to go out there and execute.
Yes, absolutely. I can already feel the nerves myself, and I'm not even competing today, but the excitement and energy in the arena is exceptional for these teams. They've worked all season for this meet, and I'm excited to see what they bring.
Final moments expiring here on the touch warm-up clock. Again, just to recap, Greenville, the number 4 seed, is starting on vault. Southern Connecticut State, the number 3 seed this afternoon, starts on the uneven bars. Southeastern Missouri, who is our number 1 seed, ranked 58th in the country, they will open on balance beam, and Bridgeport, number 2 seed today, will open on floor exercise. And Kate, we will have a double dual format here, which allows the ability to showcase these student athletes a little bit better. We won't have quite as many things going on at the same time as you would in the traditional quad, and so we'll get things started on vault here. And Greenville, again, getting to make a little bit of history as Ellery Gilmer will lead off with the opening vault of today's competition.
Start out with the clean Yurchenko layout, the small step backwards. She'll be happy with that.
That's a 9.75 start value on that vault. Greenville has been above a 48 this season on vault, 48.125, and now we will go right over to the uneven bars. Southern Connecticut State opening with Zoe Axel.
Zoe opened up the routine with some clean release moves, looking to hit her handstands and stick this dismount coming up. Took a little bit of a step back on the dismount, but overall a hit routine that Southern will be happy with to get the meet started off on a good foot.
Well, and speaking of, as we get ready to go over to balance beam, I know the old adage among coaches is you've got to do all 4. The rotation order doesn't matter, but certainly a make or break here for Southeastern Missouri. They really want to get off to a good start. This is a team coming into this weekend with championship aspirations, and what's good for them is that beam has actually been statistically their strongest event this season. They've been above a 49, which if you can get 4 of those strung together, that's a 196. That'll put you in potential national championship consideration. And Nia Reeder getting started for SEMO on the right side of your screen. On the left for Bridgeport, Madeline Viles.
That was a super unique series on beam for Simo. She did a front toss, but she started the skill in a kneeling position instead of standing up. So Simo actually went 49.05 at the conference championships this year, which were held in the Gold Dome, the arena that they are competing in right now at Centenary. So I know they're really hoping to continue with that momentum and have that confidence that they've done this before, they can do it again today. And a nice stuck dismount over there from Simo. They'll be happy with that routine to get the weekend going.
A great start over there for Reeder, and now we get to come full screen for the end of the opening routine here from Madeline Viles. So she finishes up, everyone able to hit their first routine of the day, and we go right back around to vault after a 9.475 to open. Isabella Feltman up second.
That was an interesting vault. She twisted full time before she touched her hands to the table. It's a unique entry. Hit vault that Greenville should be happy with. It's always a relief when everybody hits their first routine.
Yeah, you get to exhale just a little bit, collect yourself, and get to do what you've gone out and done all this season. So we will go. So you look at the opening score, Southern Connecticut State, 8.95 for Zoe Axel, who struggled with that stutter coming out of the dismount. As we get the opening beam scores here for Simo. Up second will be Hannah Fitzgerald. Let's go back over to the bars. Hannah Fitzgerald will be up second for the Owls.
Unfortunately, had to put her feet down on that after that overshoot release to the low bar. A nice stuck dismount. I can hear them cheering super loud in the background. That's my favorite thing after sticking a dismount, running over to my teammates and giving them high fives. Looks like they're super excited.
You'll notice they are in the corrals here for the national championship, so you get a little bit more space on the floor for the gymnasts, a little bit longer to run over and celebrate, but well-deserved there for Fitzgerald after sticking the dismount. Now we'll go back over to beam. Jordan Napolitano up second for Simo.
Nice clean leap series. And a triple series. It's very difficult. A lot of gymnasts just do 2 acrobatic saltos back to back, but she adds some difficulty and does a third.
So as Napolitano continues what has been a strong beam routine for the Gymhawks, Nova Staric. Check that Tamira Singletary over on floor exercise for Bridgeport.
Simo ended strong with that beam routine. She fought for that stick on the landing, and those sticks do matter. A lot of times these meets can come down to 1/10 or less than a step, and those steps can add up. So I know Simo was really looking to attend to those fine details and fight for everything today.
You can notice as well as you're seeing the scores come in on the bottom of your screen, 4 judge panels here at this national championship, and throw out the high and low average, the middle 2. You get a few extra angles to look for all of those deductions and look for all of those finer points. So, yeah, really important to have those details perfected here this weekend.
Wow, that was a huge double tuck. Have that much stamina to end your floor routine is very impressive. And a little celebratory dance in there. Oh my goodness. And you can see the athletes from the other team, the individual that's rotating with them, just cheering and so happy for them.
Yeah, part of the really special makeup of these postseason events, to have the individuals rotating, and you get extra member of your team, Diamond Cook, over there for Wilberforce, who we'll see later in the rotation. Back over to beam. Up third is Allie Kuhn. Now over on bars, Grace Christensen on the left side of your screen for Southern Connecticut State.
Finish with a good double layout dismount. Bars has been a statistically weaker event for Southern Connecticut this year, so I know they're just hoping to put up some hit routines and really build momentum for their stronger events going forwards.
And unfortunately, you see a fall there from Kuhn. So now the Gymhawks, with a little bit of adversity to contend with of their own, they'll need to hit their final 3 beam routines to try to drop that score.
She finished it out strong with a nice double full dismount. Always important to get back up there and do your best to finish it out, because you never know what score your team is going to have to count.
All right, on the right side of your screen, Ellie Schneiders on vault for Greenville. Looking in the bottom right side of your screen, you can see the rolling team scores. Greenville, 4 events complete. Wait on the score for Schneiders there as they open on vault. Scores rolling in for Southern Connecticut State, Southeastern Missouri, and Bridgeport. And big beam routine coming for SEMO here. Leah Parton, who has gone 9.85 this season for the Gymhawks. Trying to bounce back after the tough fall there for Kuhn.
SEMO has some really strong beam workers at the end of their lineup. Like I said, they went 49.05 at their last meet. That's roughly a 9.8 average for the skills for the routines that they are counting. So they're certainly looking up to put a score like that, and these athletes can do it.
You see the 9.05 come in for Kuhn. That'll be the number they will look to drop here in this rotation.
The head coach of SEMO had shared that this meet, they're really trying to take it one skill at a time and not get ahead of themselves. It's exactly what these athletes need to do when they're under a high pressure situation like this. Really nice, solid series, back handspring layout. Not looking like she has a ton of nerves. Slight bobble there, but was able to cover it up and connect her next 2 jumps. Nice jump combination. A dismount with a small step. That should hopefully get SEMO back on the right track and get their momentum going again.
All right, back over to vault. Amara Nelson up 5th for Greenville.
Wow, that was a very nice vault. She just had a little bobble on the landing. But wow, I've been impressed with Greenville's vaults today. Be just in their first years of growing their program, putting up some difficult vaults.
And a couple of individuals represent them at the Division III NCAA championships, but getting to come here as a team and making the most of it thus far. Back over to floor exercise now. Up 4th for Bridgeport is Skylar Volchev. Lola Sepulveda, we did not get to see her routine, but high score so far for the Purple Knights with a 9.75.
I actually do a lot of floor choreography, mostly at the club level, but some at the NCAA level. None of my routines are at this meet, but I definitely have an eye and appreciation for choreography and might be jotting down some names or routines to go back and watch for some inspiration in the future.
Back on the right side of your screen now, over on beam, Jaden Kossuth.
That was a nice hit floor routine for Bridgeport. Running over to her coach and getting a big hug.
Another triple series here from SEMO. They've not lacked for difficulty over on balance beam. And getting ready to go back over to the uneven bar, Shreya Munchie up 5th for Southern Connecticut State. A few issues for the Owls here in the first rotation.
And an awesome stuck landing over there for SEMO. She's cranking those giants around. Oh, and unfortunately rolled back and had too much momentum on that dismount. So that will be a fall over on the bars for Southern Connecticut.
And there is the final vault of the afternoon for Ashley League. That will wrap up the first rotation for Greenville. We will have one individual, Sanaya Rosby from Fisk, who is rotating with the Panthers, will compete on vault. We'll see her in the all-around this afternoon. The all-around scores for individuals, these are the ones that count. We will hand out our individual we'll know by the end of the night tonight, our individual all-around national champion based on the semifinal scores. Individual event finalists will qualify based on their semifinal scores to the individual event finals on Sunday. You see some big numbers coming up in the 9.8 range for that last beam routine from Kossuth. So Gymhawks have recaptured some of that momentum here in the first rotation. They've got one routine left. It's their anchor, Taylor Ingle. And over on floor for Bridgeport, this is Abigail Kenny.
Speaking of the all-around competition, Taylor Ingle has competed in the all-around every meet this season for SEMO. She's been one of their star contributors, and she recently competed at regionals.
Yeah, so to be able to bring that NCAA experience with her here, certainly one of the gymnasts to keep an eye on for a potential individual all-around national title.
And another triple series, stuck, no wobbles. If you want an athlete to be going up under a lot of pressure, it certainly looks like you would want her in that position. It was a very solid routine for SEMO on beam.
Well, they handled the pressure well, having that fall in the middle. They are going to have to count a 9.55 from Parton, but other than that, they'll be happy with where they ended up. Here's Diamond Cook, or excuse me, here's Sanaya Rosby from Fisk with her vault.
It was a really nice job. See a celebratory jump from her at the end. It can be tough to come into a meet as an individual without your whole team there. So props to her. I know that Greenville is happy to have her rotating with them this weekend and has taken her in as an additional member of their team.
Fisk with 3 gymnasts competing here this afternoon. They'll also have some gymnasts that are competing in the evening session as well. Morgan Price among them, who has gone perfect 10 on the uneven bars this season and definitely be a gymnast to watch. We got one uneven bars routine left here for Southern Connecticut State. Will be Kylie City. Judges look like having a little extra conference there after the routine from Munchie. We'll be ready to go here with City's routine in the anchor position momentarily.
An interesting thing about Southern Connecticut is that they have 30 athletes on their roster. I believe it is the biggest roster in the NCAA, so they definitely have the luxury of depth and a lot of athletes to choose from to fill their lineups.
A great competition in the gym for those 6 spots. No exhibitions this week in the championship setting, but you get those opportunities during the regular season to try to showcase some of that depth, and we get to see City here momentarily. She has gone 9.675 as her high score this season on bars.
She did a toe handstand right into a release combination of a ginger into an overshoot to the low bar. Do a double layout with a hop. She looks happy with it. A hit routine for SCSU.
Yeah, nice finish there. A little up and down in terms of the results in that first rotation for Southern Connecticut State, but good note to finish on there from City in the anchor position. And now over to floor exercise, our last 2 routines here before the end of rotation 1. Last team routine belongs to Margaret Coyle of Bridgeport.
Getting ready for her first tumbling pass. She did a Rudy into a stag jump. Looks like she's having fun out there. In the NCAA, a lot of the routines are super upbeat and fun and energetic. You can see her teammates over there dancing along, really trying to bring that energy up. That was interesting. She did a Rudy, but in a tucked position into a stag jump. I don't know that I've ever seen a Rudy like that before, but she executed it well. Ended with a clean last pass. An overall great routine for Bridgeport.
A nice way to finish off the first rotation. We'll have one routine left. It belongs to Diamond Cook of Wilberforce, who is rotating with Bridgeport here. She will get to compete on floor. Big moment as she represents Wilberforce for the first time here in this competition. And a look at where things stand. You can see Southeastern Missouri and Bridgeport with a little bit of separation from Southern Connecticut State and Greenville, and it'll be interesting to see, based on the score here for Coyle's routine, whether Bridgeport can jump ahead of SEMO for first place at the end of one rotation. They currently trail by half a tenth. Low score to drop is a 9.625 from Singletary, so 9.675 to tie, 9.7 to take the lead here at the end of one rotation for Bridgeport. Obviously a lot of gymnastics left. SEMO 48.625 on beam. Greenville is going to open in third. 47.325 for the Panthers on vault, and Southern Connecticut State with a 46.125 on bars. Couple of falls in there for the Owls will open in fourth. All right, and here is Diamond Cook, the arena to herself, to close out rotation number one for Wilberforce on floor.
Great first pass. Some really interesting choreography to this floor routine. She's really having fun with it. There's a lot that goes into choreography. You'll sometimes see their teammates, doing it on the sidelines, and choreography can be interactive. The team will clap along or shout a cheer in the middle. It's a way to just bring up the overall energy for the athlete. A nice second pass for her. She is really dancing. She is a choreographer's dream. She can really show off that floor routine. An awesome set for her.
And a great historical moment there for Wilberforce, represented for the first time at this championship, and a nice moment for Diamond Cook to get to celebrate with her teammates for the week over at Bridgeport. Great finish to rotation number 1. Cook has gone 9.725 this season. We'll see what she scores there and her championship trip. And we want to remind you folks that tickets are on sale now for upcoming USA Gymnastics meets, including the US Classic. It's the final qualifying event for the 2025 Xfinity US Gymnastics Championships, which will be held August 7th to 10th in New Orleans. You can go to Chicago July 18th and 19th for a great weekend of gymnastics at the US Classic. Get your tickets today, and then the Xfinity US Gymnastics Championships will come to New Orleans in the Smoothie King Center August 7th through 10th. Get your tickets at xfinitychampionships.com. Remind you as well that you can support your favorite college team at the WCGNIC Championships by Hygo Apparel. You can get more description out of the link. Special edition Leo being sold in conjunction with this weekend's WCGNIC Championship. So go check out Hygo Apparel for a limited edition WCGNIC Leo this weekend. All right, rotation number 1 is complete. Here is our event summary. And Kate, you look at a very tight start between Bridgeport and SEMO in those top 2 spots, but Margaret Coyle and Abigail Kenny with those pair of 9.8s, putting Bridgeport on top at the end of one rotation with still a lot of gymnastics to go, but very exciting start all around.
Yes, those 2 routines at the end of the SEMO lineup, really the 3 routines at the end really helped them pick back up their momentum in a high pressure situation, highlighted with a 9.825 by Taylor Engel.
All right, so Bridgeport in first, Southeastern Missouri in second, Greenville in third, Southern Connecticut State in fourth. At the end of one rotation, Greenville goes to bars, Southern Connecticut State to beam, SEMO to floor, and Bridgeport to vault when we come back with the second rotation. Those are your lineups. This is what we're looking at in the next rotation. Bridgeport will be on vault, trying to maintain that early lead. Greenville and Sanaya Rosby going to bars, balance beam with a couple of additional Fisk gymnasts who will make their debut as individuals alongside Southern Connecticut State and Southeastern Missouri, trying to take that momentum that Kate described with those hit routines at the end of beam. They will be heading to floor. That's next with the second rotation of the first semifinal, the WCGNIC. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rotation number 2 from the Gold Dome in Shreveport, Louisiana. It is the session number 1 semifinals. We'll have 2 competitions today, 2 semifinals, a team final tomorrow night, and then the individual event finals on Sunday afternoon, getting to kick off a busy weekend of collegiate gymnastics here from Shreveport. Kevin Copp alongside Kate Aberger. And Kate, really a nice start all around in rotation 1. Bridgeport grabbing the lead here, but still a lot of gymnastics left, and really excited based off of what we saw in the first rotation for what we've got coming up here in rotation 2.
Yes, definitely. All 4 teams started out with hit routines in their first rotation. I know they'll be hoping to have that consistency in their second rotation as well.
Let's see what they are able to do here in the second rotation as Bridgeport goes to vault, Greenville goes to bars, Southern Connecticut State to beam, and Southeastern Missouri to floor exercise. You look at kind of different stories all around in that first rotation. Southern Connecticut State, who you noted, Kate, has had some struggles on the uneven bars this season, and it was an up and down first rotation. So we'll see what they can do as they go to balance beam. And Southeastern Missouri, on the other hand, bounced back nicely from a fall in the middle of their rotation, hit 3 in a row, and they've got some momentum as they go to floor exercise, where they've been above a 49 this season, 49-150. So they can put some pressure right back on Bridgeport here, who's leading the meet at the end of 1.
Yeah, Southeast Missouri has really showed resilience over this season. They've had 3 out of their 4 seniors get injured this year. So a lot of the freshmen have actually had to step up and take lineup spots and really build their experience throughout the season.
Looking at Greenville here, who is making history with their first appearance at the WCGNIC Championships, and got off to a nice start. They're opening in 3rd after a 47-325 on vault. But in our double duel format, we will begin once again on the vault, and this will be Bridgeport, who is our leader. You can see the team scores bottom right corner of your screen. Bridgeport in first by just over a 1/10 over SEMO at the end of 1 rotation. Looking to qualify to tomorrow night's team final, which will be 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. And you can catch all of the action this weekend right here on Virtius. Over on the bars, Madison Carter opening up for the Panthers.
Get a nice release combination there. Hit that handstand.
You see first vault in the books for Tamira Singletary, really holding that landing as well.
Yeah, she is super excited about that stuck dismount over on bars. That is an awesome start for them.
All right, our first look in the second rotation at SEMO. Kaylin Hamilton in the anchor position for the in the opening position for the Gymhawks. And then over on beam, Hannah Zebdi getting things started for Southern Connecticut State.
Solid series connection there for Hannah on beam. Hannah is a graduate student who is taking a 5th year of eligibility for the Owls. She's actually been a star for the Owls mostly on vault and floor throughout her career, but most recently added beam, I believe in the last 3 meets she's competed, so it's still relatively new for her, but this performance you can't tell.
No, and great to see a gymnast even in your 5th year, as you know, Kate. Not easy to have another go-round like that and to be adding work to your load there, and she has done an excellent job.
That was a phenomenal routine.
And a great start for Southern Connecticut State, who's been above a 48 this season on beam. They would love that right now after some of those early struggles on bars. Kaylin Hamilton on the left side of your screen for SEMO, and back over to vault. Gracie Walker getting ready to go second for Bridgeport.
A clean Yurchenko layout full for Bridgeport. Looks like SEMO had a nice start to their floor rotation as well.
Singletary.
All of the events, all of the athletes are hitting their first routine again. I love that energy.
Yeah, great job by these opening gymnasts. Not always the easiest position in the lineup to be in, but setting the tone. Singletary going 9.65 on her opening vault for Bridgeport. And Madison Carter opened with a 9.425 for Greenville. Following her up second, Ellie Schneiders.
Put her feet down on that after that release to the low bar. And unfortunately, she didn't have enough momentum to make it all the way over the bar on that blindfold pirouette. So she came off and will have to re-chalk and try to finish up her dismount.
While over on the balance beam, Angelina Stanfa.
Unfortunately, she came off on that series. A very difficult triple series again. Seeing a lot of those at this meet. Now, I know that Angelina is the first recipient of the Melanie Coleman Scholarship at Southern Connecticut. Melanie was a gymnast on the team who tragically passed away a few years ago, and she was actually one of my teammates. There are truly just not enough positive words to describe her, so being the first recipient of that scholarship is a huge honor for Angelina and really speaks to her talent and her character.
Yeah, really, really special. Part of that legacy at Southern Connecticut State, and tough finish there, unfortunately, for Stanfa on beam. And now back over to vault for Bridgeport, Emily Hernandez.
Nice Yurchenko full.
And you look at the start values, and again, encourage everyone to go over to the Virtius platform. Obviously, if you're watching the stream with us today, you can also get all of the detailed scoring. And I think one of the things to really focus on is the start value of the vault scores, where you are going to see a little bit of a difference, and Bridgeport's going to have a little bit of a cushion compared to Greenville in that first rotation. Yurchenko layout full starts from a 9.95. We had one of those for Greenville, but we've seen the last two in a row for Bridgeport start there, and we'll see what we get from Abigail Kenny, Lola Sepulveda, and Nova Starek in the 4, 5, and 6 spots. All right, looks like we are ready to go here with our second floor routine of the rotation. This is Annalee Phillips after an opening 9.7 from Kaylin Hamilton. And on the right side of your screen, Gabriella Dinisow.
Nice leap series from both of those gymnasts. And a great back handspring layout series over on beam. Gabriella's looking solid under this pressure of having a fall go before her. She's really picking it back up for the team.
We saw how SEMO was able to handle that similar pressure in rotation 1. Good to see here.
And a clean landing with just a little hop. She looks so relieved and high-fiving her coaches, getting that energy back on the right track.
Yeah, nice bounce back there for sure, and another good floor routine for SEMO. Annalee Phillips. Over to vault, Abigail Kenny.
And another hit vault.
A little different there, front entry vault for Bridgeport. Kenny has scored a 9.775 season high this year for the Purple Knights. And now, speaking of following a fall, Amara Nelson trying to do the same here for Greenville and get the Panthers back on track in the second rotation.
There's a Ginger release move into an overshoot handstand. A nice duck dismount. Man, these athletes are doing great with picking back up the energy after those falls.
And
that's exactly what you want to see in an athlete.
Not always easy to do, but been some good fight here in these early rotations. You see the score for Diniso, a 9.775, so great bounce back, and ready to go now up fourth for the Owls is Angel Lee.
I love watching Angel on beam. She has a lot of unique dance elements that really make her stand out from the other competitors. She really shows off her flexibility, her extension, and her toe point, starting out with that super unique mount. And a different turn there. She did her turn with her leg in an arabesque position. A lot of the athletes do it in a passe position. Had a few bobbles on that connection there.
All right, and over on the left side of your screen, Sydney Crouch up third for Southeastern Missouri.
And a solid series over there from Angel. Angel and the two athletes after her are seniors for this team, so having that experience go at the end of the beam lineup is really great for Southern.
Well, no doubt. And also, you know, you think about the emotion and all of that for these seniors, knowing that they are coming down to the final stretch of their careers as well, hoping to extend it another day.
A slight hop on that dismount for Angel. She had a few wobbles, but she got through the routine.
On vault, Lola Sepulveda up fifth.
Another clean vault for Bridgeport. And they are putting up a fight today, Bridgeport. They're putting up some good scores and some clean gymnastics. It's been really impressive.
Yeah, seeded second of the four teams coming in. They are ranked 61st overall in the country. That's 3 spots behind Southeastern Missouri. And Bridgeport looking very solid thus far. They'll have 1 vault left.
I love seeing SEMO over there celebrating together as a team. The head coach had said that SEMO is like a sisterhood this year. All of the athletes are super close and will spend a lot of time, even on their off days, together, doing things like playing volleyball in their gym or just bonding as a team.
Trying to get back into the winner's circle, the 2021 national champions here. Meanwhile, great routine going for Ashley League as she finishes up on bars.
It was a cool dismount. She did a pike off half. A lot of times you'll see the gymnast do a double back or a double layout.
Big release in there as well for League. So good job by Greenville. They've got 2 routines left, and also with 2 left on beam, this is Alexa Melanson.
And she did also a triple series, a front aerial into a back handspring. A little bit of a bobble and a form issue in it, but got through it. And a big wobble there. Held on. Picks it back up with a clean side aerial. Getting ready for the dismount. And she finished strong with a good dismount. Alexa is actually from Canada. We're seeing a lot of athletes come to the United States from different countries to compete in NCAA gymnastics. I guess there's just nothing quite like it.
Well, that is definitely true. Meanwhile, final vault for Bridgeport. Nova Staric finishing things up for the Purple Knights. They're officially halfway home.
That was certainly a rotation to be proud of.
Sepulveda right now, the high score with a 9-7. We'll see what that scores from Staric in the anchor position. Bridgeport already sitting at a 48.225 on vault. They can add maybe another tenth or so, depending on Staric's score. Low score to drop for the Purple Knights is a 9.575 from Gracie Walker. Standing by over on floor is Leah Parton. Parton's had a 9.875 this year for the Gymhawks. So very capable floor performer.
Know that SEMO intentionally created their schedule to compete at a lot of large-scale meets this year in preparation for this postseason. They competed at big regular season meets like the Metroplex Challenge that have really good Division I teams to get that experience and audience on a bigger stage.
Yeah, paying off here under the spotlight of a national championship atmosphere, and now Leah Parton up fourth.
A huge double tuck to start the routine out. Smiling, looking like she's having a great time out there, getting ready for her second pass. Another great tumbling pass from her. Teammates looking super excited in the background.
And back over on beam. In the anchor position, Libby Allen.
This will be our first look at Libby Allen today. She is a star athlete for the Owls. She's a senior and competes on beam, floor, and vault. She's here in the anchor position on beam.
A nice Rudy to finish up for Leah Parton over on floor. Two left for the Gymhawks.
And a nice hit series from Libby Allen. She did an interesting series. She started with a handstand before her back handspring. I don't see that very often. She's looking really confident up there. Now, I mentioned that Southern Connecticut has a huge roster of 30 athletes. 12 of them are actually seniors and 2 are graduate students, so that is almost half of their team, with Libby being one of the seniors. Oh, an unfortunate fall on the dismount.
We had it going right to the end there.
Yeah, that was such a great routine up until that. That's certainly disappointing.
Southern Connecticut State almost out of the woods. Going to be able to drop that earlier 8.75 from Stanfa, and tough tough end to the routine there for Allen. So bit of a disappointing note for Southern Connecticut State to end on. We are not done with beam yet. We will have 2 individuals from Fisk, Allie Berkeley, Liberty Mora, left to compete. Bridgeport is in with a 48-4 on vault. That is just 3/10 off of their season high. Really solid vault rotation for Bridgeport. 97.150, so it puts them on a pace above a 194. It'd be a 194.3, which is currently a season high pace for Bridgeport. Exactly what you want to be doing is peaking here. And they are doing that. SEMO trying to do the same. Back on floor, Madison Green.
Yes, unless you have individuals qualify to regionals or go as a team, this is a lot of these teams' big postseason meet. They work all season to peak at this meet.
All right, the first of those individuals over on beam. This is Allie Berkeley for Fisk.
A huge double tuck over there on floor for SEMO. Had to take a step forwards. Typically, if an athlete is flipping backwards, you would want to take a step in the backwards direction. So she was a little short landing on that, but overall, a really high tumbling pass.
Unfortunately, a big break for Berkeley on that side aerial, but fought to stay on. Leap connection.
A good finish and stuck dismount.
All right, her Fisk teammate, Liberty Mora, will be up next. Is the final beam routine of the day.
Looks like Libby Allen's score for Southern Connecticut came in at a 9.15, so they will have to count a lower score in that rotation. It was otherwise very solid.
Yeah, they got it going nicely after that early fall and hit a couple in a row, but just not able to get to the finish line there. Got Taylor Ingle remaining on floor exercise for SEMO, and we'll see how much they're able to cut into that Bridgeport lead, if at all. Looks like Bridgeport may well extend their advantage, which was just over a 10th and a quarter starting this rotation. They go 48-4 on vault. We'll see what SEMO is able to do right now. Their highest score on floor, they've got a pair of 9.7s.
If you want anybody going last for your team, it seems to be Taylor Ingle. She typically anchors every event besides bars, which she still is at the end of the lineup in the 5th spot.
Yeah, she's gone 39-3 in the all-around this season. Terrific gymnast, 9.875, season best on floor. She's on the left side of your screen. On the right is Liberty Mora from Fisk, who's had a 9.9 on this event this year. So 2 gymnasts both to watch here.
A nice 2.5 twist into a front tuck with great control on the landing. She's really showing off this routine with great facial expressions, extension through her legs, through her hands. Getting ready for the second pass. Nice Rudy for Taylor's second pass. She really seems like she just has the whole package. She's got the high tumbling. She's got the consistency. Able to show off that routine. Is a great performer.
And a nice finish for Mora. Cat leap, gainer full off the side. Good stuck landing. So nice exclamation point in her routine on beam.
A great finish for Simo. Running over to her coaches. Getting some celebrations in. We'll see if that's enough to catch Bridgeport.
Get just the tail end there for Sanaya Rosby of Fisk. Nice finish to her bars routine as she continues her day in the all-around, rotating around with Greenville. And with that, we are officially at the halfway point. Couple of scores still to trickle in for the individuals, and then Ingle on floor exercise. You see right now Bridgeport sitting at a 97-150. And Simo 2.5 tenths behind. We'll see how much ground, if any, they're able to make up when Ingle's floor routine score comes in. While we have a moment, folks, we want to remind you that you can get your tickets for upcoming USA Gymnastics meets. Tickets are on sale now, beginning with the US Classic in Chicago, Illinois, July 18th and 19th. It'll be a great time this summer. The US Classic is the final qualifying event for the 2025 Xfinity US Gymnastics Championships. They're scheduled for August 7th through 10th in New Orleans. US Classic, always a great time there in Chicago. And you can get your tickets at usagymclassic.com. And then, again, the Xfinity US Gymnastics Championships are coming to New Orleans August 7th through 10th. The men started off on Thursday the 7th, wrap up on Saturday the 9th. The women go Friday, August 8th, and wrap up Sunday, August 10th. Tickets for the 2025 Xfinity US Gymnastics Championships, you can get them at xfinitychampionships.com. So a busy summer here in the USAGs, and we want to remind you folks that Hygo Apparel is a pioneering force in the realm of gymnastics, leotards, and apparel, setting the bar for excellence and innovation. Check out their website at hygoapparel.com to order the official leotard of the Women's Collegiate Gymnastics National Invitation Championship. Hygo Apparel, be inspired. All right, here's our event summary. You look at Southern Connecticut State. Had a chance there, unfortunately had that late fall, and the battle continues between Simo and Bridgeport for the top spot. Taylor Ingle, 9-8 in the anchor position. Simo gets a 10th back, going 48.5 on floor, 48.4 for Bridgeport on vault, and they are about as close as you can be at the midpoint. Bridgeport leading by just a 1/4 of a tenth. So a virtual dead heat between those two. Southern Connecticut State able to leapfrog past Greenville. They are into third, and the Panthers sit in fourth through 2 rotations. But, you know, as we've noted, Kate, a lot of gymnastics left and shaping up to be a really great battle here between Bridgeport and Simo for the top spot.
Yes, it looks like every 10th is going to count in that battle for the top spot.
And we'll see what those teams can do next as Simo heads to vault. Bridgeport will be on uneven bars, Greenville going to beam, and Southern Connecticut State will go to floor exercise. We'll have a couple of individuals. Sanaya Rosby continues her day in the all-around, going with the Greenville Panthers. She'll be on beam, and Liberty Mora, who we just saw finish up on beam for Fisk with a 9.675. She will be with the Southern Connecticut State Owls on floor exercise. So that's what's coming up in rotation 3 right now. At the midpoint of today's meet, it's Bridgeport in the lead. Southeastern Missouri second, Southern Connecticut State third, and Greenville fourth. We'll have your third rotation action coming up in just a few moments. All right, welcome back, everyone. Kevin Copp, Kate Aberger with you here as we get set to start rotation number 3 of the WCGNIC semifinal number 1 here in the afternoon in Shreveport, Louisiana. And SEMO on vault here in the 3rd rotation, Bridgeport on bars, Greenville on balance beam, and Southern Connecticut State on floor exercise. Jaden Cossett opening up the rotation on vault. And on the right side of your screen over on beam, Madison Carter for Greenville, Olivia Imbarlina on the bars for Bridgeport.
Bridgeport starting out with a solid routine. Teams typically want to put up somebody who's really consistent in that first spot of the lineup to make sure that they set the right tone and for the rest of the athletes. So far, a solid routine on the beam for Greenville.
Just a little step out of that gainer pike off the end of the beam, and now Haley Fitzgerald getting things started for Southern Connecticut State as the Owls move to floor exercise here in the 3rd rotation.
Floor is definitely one of the Owls' stronger events. They've excelled on the quote-unquote leg events or power events this year, floor and vault, so they're looking to put up big numbers on these 2 last rotations. So far doing a great job. I know that this athlete, Haley, actually has a sister that is on the team. That must just be such a special experience to share college gymnastics with your sister. Nice. She had a lot of fun out there. You can see her teammates were dancing and doing her routine in the background. A nice start for Southern Connecticut.
Yeah, exactly how you want to begin there. Back over to beam, Isabella Feltman after an opening 9.65 from Madison Carter. Really nice start on beam for Greenville. On the bars, left side of your screen is Ray Solis for Bridgeport.
Wow, a huge release move there on bars for Bridgeport. She's got great form throughout this routine. Her legs are glued together. A little bit short on that cast handstand and her blindfold with some steps on the dismount.
All right, back full screen to Isabella Feltman. Greenville, statistically, their strongest event this year has been beam.
Finished out with a good 1.5 dismount.
And Madison Carter opening with a 9.65. That was her season best score by 1/10. So hopefully that can set a nice tone here for Greenville. Opened in 3rd at the end of one rotation. They've fallen back to 4th. Bridgeport and SEMO came in separated by 1/4 of a tenth here for first place. That battle will be fun to continue watching, certainly on into the 4th rotation. Jocelyn Hernandez over on the right side of your screen on vault. Ava Kelly on the left for Southern Connecticut State on floor.
Nice opening pass for Ava. Showing off her dance here. Their assistant coaches, Isabella Antonangeli and Kaya Johnson, were former NCAA athletes. Bella was on the team when I was, and she was certainly a really great floor performer. So I can tell that she's worked with the athletes on their performance quality in dance. Her teammates chanting SCSU in the background. That was built into their choreography to hype her up before the second pass. Wow, she saved that landing. She was pretty low, but she was determined to get a hit for Southern Connecticut.
Good job to keep it going there from Kelly over to Beam. Back-to-back 9.65s to start off for Greenville. And now Ashley League up 3rd. That's 2 for 2 on season highs so far here for Greenville, so excellent start.
Wow, and to do that at a national postseason meet. Looks like she was trying to do that front aerial into an arabesque, which is extremely hard. Typically, you'll see athletes put their foot down out of their front aerial to get a little bit of extra stability, but she swung her leg through, which is much more difficult because you don't have that other leg to balance on. A good stuck dismount. She had a few bobbles in that beam routine. It stayed on. Might not be a season high for her, but her teammates before her really set the tone.
And there's Allie Kuhn up 4th for Southeastern Missouri. Yurchenko layout half. Yeah, league season best to 9.775. I don't think she's going to get back there, but she has been excellent this season for Greenville. They've got some really talented beam workers. Amara Nelson, who's coming up later in the lineup, the 9.85 score this year for the Panthers. Back over on the uneven bars. This is Samantha Noakes.
Wow, a super clean opening to that routine with a Jaeger into an overshoot. Fortunately, took a few steps forwards on that landing, so not the ending of the routine that they were hoping for.
No, and really similar to what just happened with Solis before her, had a really good routine going, and then that extra step out of the dismount, and Solis ended up going 9.375. It's a number that Bridgeport is going to want to drop to try to stay on top of Southeastern Missouri here. So see what the judges do there with the end of the routine from Noakes. Meanwhile, over on floor, Abby Royer up 3rd. Ellery Gilmer getting ready to go 4th on beam momentarily on the right side.
Nice clean opening pass for Southern Connecticut. You can definitely tell that this is one of their better events and stronger suits. The athletes have all had clean tumbling pass landings. They're getting a lot of height. Wow, that was a difficult mount over on beam for Greenville. She did a front tuck mount from the floor. A lot of times you'll just see athletes kind of step up onto the beam, but it's awesome she took that extra step and did something more difficult. That was a great routine for Southern Connecticut over on floor.
With 3 for 3 start for Southern Connecticut State. They are halfway home on floor exercise.
A nice job on beam. That was an interesting dismount that you don't typically see on a regular basis. She did a gainer swinging her leg through, but went forwards into a front instead of a back flip with a full twist.
A quick correction on my part. That was Madison Ford up fourth for Greenville. Back over on vault, Madison Green.
She had to just step forward on that landing. Really want to clean up those landings for if they qualify into the second day, because those championship meets can come down to the smallest of steps.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We've got 4 really talented teams in our evening session tonight, which you can catch right here on Virtius. It will begin at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, and that will be Centenary, the host school, Texas Women's, who comes in as the highest ranked of the 8 teams in the competition, Westchester and Alaska. So great evening session coming up, and the top 4 will advance to tomorrow's team final, and top 5 plus ties in each session advancing to the individual event finals, which is always fun. Format that used to exist at the NCAA Division I level, doesn't anymore, but great to see it still here as part of the WCGNIC. And that will be on Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 Central.
SEMO and Bridgeport in this session have won national titles before. It has been a while for both of them, about 5 years for SEMO and 10 for Bridgeport. So recent, but certainly far enough in the past that those athletes are hungry for another win, and if they put up good routines, they certainly have a chance.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And trying to set the stage and get there today. Back over on floor right now, Hannah Zebdi up fourth for Southern Connecticut State, trying to keep a really nice floor rotation going. They're coming off of a high score of 9.775 from Abby Royer.
Hannah is one of those fifth-year seniors who took advantage of an extra year of eligibility to come back and compete and go to graduate school. She really excels on this event along with vault. Been super consistent throughout her 5 years. Getting ready for this last pass. Wow, and another great tumbling pass and routine for Southern Connecticut. They're really doing great in this floor rotation. Way to pick back up the energy after some mistakes on bars and beam.
Yeah, they've done an excellent job here. 2 routines left. Erica Beyer and Libby Allen. Back over on the balance beam now for Greenville. Amara Nelson will be up 5th. Little extra delay here. The judges had to get together with scores out of range on the previous routine for Madison Ford. You get these 4 judge panels, and you have maybe someone that took a deduction for not having a connection, another judge that didn't, and so just a little bit extra time there for Nelson trying to stay loose, stay in the moment. And that gives us time.
I would like to say beam was probably my best event, but I got so nervous before beam. Oh my goodness, I would not even watch the athletes before me, so I know she's trying to stay grounded and calm in this position.
If there's ever an event you don't need an extra time to wait and think about it, and it looks like a little bit of issue over on the bars just with the equipment, so getting things tested and set. That's why we've had a long delay after the 2 routines there from Solis and Noakes, and caught the tail end of Taylor Engel continuing her day in the all-around, finishing up for SEMO. So their 3rd rotation is in the books. No big mistakes, didn't really get the highest scores that they might have been looking for on vault. We'll see what Engel scores there.
Sometimes not having your best meet and facing some adversity can really help the team build some of those skills that are needed to overcome that in a higher stakes championship meet. So maybe they're just getting some of their mistakes out today.
It looks like we're getting closer to a resolution over on beam. The wait continues for Amara Nelson. And also seeing if we are ready to resume over on bars. A little pause to check out the equipment over there for Bridgeport. All right, here we go. Amara Nelson. And by the way, Engel, you can see her score 9.825 by some margin, the high vault score. That's a nice punctuation mark on the vault rotation, as Southeastern Missouri is finished with their 3rd rotation. Over on the floor now is Erica Beyer.
Unfortunately, came off on her series on beam. And a great first pass for Southern Connecticut on floor. Erica is one of their many seniors.
Okay, you noted 30 gymnasts on the roster. I think what's even more amazing is that 24 different gymnasts have had a routine in competition. So that is a whole lot of depth for this Southern Connecticut State roster.
Yes, definitely.
And we are back up and running on bars as well. Nicole Pujols, after a really long wait, good finish.
Wow, it's awesome to see her hit that routine with a great stuck dismount after a long pause. These sticks are contagious. Another one over on beam.
Yeah, great finish by Nelson.
It looks like we didn't catch the end of it, but Erica is running over and celebrating with her teammates and the assistant coach, so I can just assume she had a great ending to that routine.
So Southeastern Missouri becomes the first team to complete 3 rotations, 145-375 for SEMO. They've got bars remaining. Bridgeport back up and running here after a long wait on the uneven bars, and it was the landings that got them into trouble. They're going to have to count in 9.375 from Solis. Earlier, they got a 9.3 from Noakes. Pujols able to stick that dismount. That'll help. Emily Hernandez and Abigail Kenny remain for Bridgeport. And then they'll finish on beam. Always a make or break type of event. All right, back on bars. Pujols goes 9.625. Here's Emily Hernandez up 5th.
And unfortunately, it looks like her feet kind of got stuck on the bar before She was intending to do a release move, so she had to come off for Bridgeport. A triple series on beam. Looks like she's gonna remount the bar and try again. And she got it that time. Ooh, that's very difficult. A shaposh into a pack salto. A very difficult connection. And a hit high bar handstand. Man, if only she could have just counted that second time she mounted the bar. That was a great finish to her routine. Just got off on a rough start.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Bridgeport going to have to carry a couple of scores lower than they would like, and the door is open for Southeastern Missouri here to vault into the lead, pun intended, after their third rotation. You look at the finish there for Alessia Russo.
Wow, that was a really awesome dismount. She did a gainer off of the end of the beam with a full twist. A lot of times you'll just see a gainer off of the side with a full twist, or a gainer off the end of the beam without twisting. So it's cool that she was able to kind of combine the two. That is really difficult.
And Greenville finishes up what has statistically been their strongest event, and will do a nice job there. We'll see what Russo scores, but definitely their best of the three rotations thus far. And same can be said for Southern Connecticut State. They've had it going on floor. 9-8 from Erica Beyer to set up this anchor floor routine from Libby Allen.
I'm super excited to watch Libby on floor. I think this is her best event. She tied the program individual record on floor with a 9-9. Just super fun performer. You can see her just in her facial expressions, really try to engage her teammates in the audience and just have fun out there. Great second pass. Gearing up for this last pass on floor. Oh, a huge double tuck. That was a really nice routine with difficult tumbling. Great dance.
Well, an excellent job overall by Southern Connecticut State on floor. They're going to have a chance, outside chance at season-high team score on floor. Back on beam, Sanaya Rosby continuing her all-around day. This is on beam for Fisk.
She nailed that series for an aerial into a back handspring. A lot of times you'll see athletes kind of wobble out of the front aerial and try to cover it up going into their back handspring like they connected it, but no issues there for her. Wow, that was a great routine, great ending there. Running over to high five Greenville team.
Rosby has started off 9.675 on vault, 9.7 on bar, so her scores have built as she's gone on. We'll see what she can do here on beam. And we'll stick with Fisk. Liberty Mora We just saw in the last rotation 9-6-7-5 on beam. She will compete on floor here with Southern Connecticut State. And this is officially our last routine of the third rotation before we come back with the fourth and final here from the Gold Dome.
Starting out with some dance on the floor. Whenever I did college gymnastics, I did not like to start on the floor. I felt like it made me already too tired. A good first pass, a double pike. She did step forwards on the landing. Getting ready for her second pass. She did a nice ring arabesque out of that pass. And a fantastic ending. She should be super happy with that performance. Looks like the girls over on Southern Connecticut are super excited for her as well.
It's been a very high level by the individuals. We got to see Diamond Cook for Wilberforce in the first rotation go 9-7-5 on floor. Really nice job. And we got Rosby, Berkeley, and Mara, the trio representing Fisk, with a few more Fisk athletes to come in the evening session as well. But with that, we have gotten to the end of rotation number 3. And I want to remind you that you can get your tickets on sale now for the upcoming USAG Gymnastics meets, beginning with the U.S. Classic. The 2025 U.S. Classic features an elite field of junior and senior gymnasts. It's the final qualifying event for the 2025 Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships. Tickets are on sale now. The U.S. Gymnastics Championships will be later in the summer, August 7th to 10th in New Orleans, but Chicago is the place to be for the U.S. Classic, July 18th to 19th, usagymclassic.com to get your tickets. And then the Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, August 7th through 10th. Men's and women's competition, you can get your tickets there at xfinitychampionships.com. So a great busy summer of USAG Gymnastics, and I want to remind you also that you can get a special edition Leo to support the WCGNIC from our sponsor Hygo Apparel. They're a pioneering force in the realm of gymnastics leotards and apparel, setting the bar for excellence and innovation. Check out their website at Hygo Apparel to order the HygoApparel.com to order the official leotard of the Women's Collegiate Gymnastics National Invitational Championship. All right, we'll look at our summary of scores, the event summary from rotation number 3. And Bridgeport, there were some high moments there, but unfortunately having to count those scores in the 9-3 range, and that has allowed Southeastern Missouri to take over the top spot, 145-375. They lead by just over half a point as Bridgeport slips back to second, 144-8. Southern Connecticut State maintains third place with their strongest event by far, floor exercise, 48-850. Nice top-to-bottom rotation there for the Owls. And Greenville got a couple of nice scores there, including the 9-7-5 from Alessia Russo. They are in fourth with a 147-25. But, Kate, the stage is set for what should be a really exciting finish in the fourth and final rotation here of our semifinal.
Yes, absolutely.
As we look at what that fourth rotation will look like, as Southeastern Missouri, now that they have moved into first place for the first time in this meet, they're going to try to close it out on the uneven bars. We have Bridgeport will be heading to beam, Greenville will be heading to floor exercise, and Southern Connecticut State moving to vault. So these are what your lineups will look like in the fourth and final rotation. We'll also see Allie Berkeley rotating as an individual with Fisk. She'll be on vault, and Sanaya Rosby will finish up in the all-around with Greenville on floor exercise. So the finale of semifinal number 1 is coming up next. We'll be back with the fourth rotation from the session number 1 semifinals of the WCGNIC from Shreveport. All right, welcome back, everyone. We are going to come back here with a floor routine for Liberty Mora. We had some music issues in the first time around for Mora with her floor routine, so we'll get an opportunity to go again here. So before we actually take our break and get you set for the fourth rotation, not an easy situation, Kate, to be in. She still competed a full routine, now having to go muster up that stamina and the mental and emotional side as well. And here she goes. The floor is hers one more time in rotation 3.
Wow, she did such a great job in that last routine. I couldn't even tell. So props to her for getting out there and doing it again. Her chest down on that first pass and landed it to her feet.
Season high score for Mora, 9.775.
A lot of times when training in the preseason to kind of build up our endurance, we did have to do 2 floor routines in a row with some watered down tumbling in the second routine. She is going all out for all of her tumbling passes, though. Very impressive. Had a weird landing on that next pass.
Well, credit there to Mora. Not easy at all to deal with, to get yourself back up and to compete effectively back-to-back routines, but really fought her way through that, and we'll see what the final tally ends up being there for Mora as she finishes up her afternoon. So once again, this is what the lineups will look like when we come back. The fourth rotation is next. Southern Connecticut State on vault, Southeastern Missouri on bars, Bridgeport on beam, Greenville on floor when we continue from Shreveport. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Copp, Kate Aberger with you as we get set to start the fourth and final rotation. This is semifinal number 1 of the WCGNIC, the Women's Collegiate Gymnastics National Invitational Championship, new name for what is formerly known as the USAG Collegiate Championship. And you see the final score there come up at 9.575 for Liberty Mora, who repeated her floor routine after some music issues competing as an individual for Fisk. Not an easy way to finish up rotation 3, but Kate, as we get set for the fourth rotation, you look at SEMO has been able to jump into first. Bridgeport sits in second, Southern Connecticut State in third, Greenville in fourth, and we'll see how things shake out here down the home stretch.
Yeah, Bridgeport put together some hit routines on bars, but did take some pretty big steps on their landings, so they'll be looking to clean up those landings and those bobbles on beam.
Yeah, beam has been statistically Bridgeport's weakest event this year, but they've gone 48.625, so certainly some potential there as a team. They're going to need a big performance, and again, you know, you want to put yourself in position to qualify for the team final, which will be tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Big weekend of action here at the Gold Dome in Shreveport, Louisiana. This is session number 1. We've got a session number 2 of the semifinals tonight, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. And then tomorrow, team finals, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. And on Sunday, the individual finals at 3 Eastern, 2 Central. All right, in the final rotation, Southern Connecticut State on vault, Southeastern Missouri on bars, Bridgeport on beam, and Greenville on floor.
Looks like we'll have our first athlete up from Southern Connecticut and a second on vault. This has been one of their stronger events this year alongside floor. They were really able to, turn the page from some mistakes on beam and bars the first 2 rotations to have an excellent floor rotation. I really think they can do the same thing here with vault.
Yeah, they should be feeling extremely confident based off of what they did on floor. Looked really, really good in that third rotation. That's on the right side of your screen. On the left, SEMO out in first place right now. The Gym Hawks getting started on uneven bars.
That's a nice tuck full on vault from Hannah. Great way to get the rotation started. And a little bit of a different dismount over on bars. She's super happy with it. She did a pike half off the bars. We don't see that too much. She's super excited, and rightfully so.
And over on beam, Samantha Krenzel getting things started for Bridgeport.
A beautiful front aerial into an arabesque.
Over on floor exercise, Ashley League. One of the 2 all-arounders for Greenville. And again, those scores will determine your individual all-around national champion. We won't know until tonight once the rest of the semifinal all-arounders conclude. But important routine here, both individually and for Greenville as a team.
I've been so impressed with Greenville today. They are the only Division III team in this session. Division III teams do not get athletic scholarships, so the athletes really are just there for the love of the sport and to build a legacy for a new program.
Yeah, just the 3rd season. Made some history a couple weeks ago at the NCAA Division III National Championships, and making history here represented on this stage for the first time. But bright things ahead for this Greenville program. And just great for the sport to be adding programs here. And we've seen a couple. We've seen Fisk, another example at the HBCU level. And it's been great for the sport to get to welcome some new programs in and get to see them showcased on this stage. Ava Kelly getting ready to go on the right side of your screen. Tough fall right at the end there for League.
A clean tuck full again on vault for Southern Connecticut. That was a cool little acrobatic dance move on floor from her at the end of her routine. Not the start that they were hoping for, but they've still got 5 routines to go, and they can certainly overcome that score.
A couple of really talented floor workers. Ellery Gilmer later in the lineup has had a 9-9 this season for Greenville. Amara Nelson still to finish up her day in the all-around, so we'll see if the Panthers can pick it up there. Now back over on beam for Bridgeport. Excellent start, 9.725 for Krenzel in the opening position. Up second is Emily Hernandez.
Getting ready for her series. Bent over a little bit on the landing of that series. That will be a deduction. Picks it back up with a really nice front toss. No wobbles there.
Back on the uneven bars for SEMO. Caitlin Hamilton up second.
Wow, that was a huge release move on the high bar. Really clean ginger with her legs glued together, super high.
Just a little step back on the round off 1.5 dismount for Hernandez. Great routine though for Hamilton.
Yeah, she got some huge amplitude on that dismount. Had to take a step out of it.
Sydney Wilson on vault.
Unfortunately, it looks like the pre-flight of her vault, she wasn't exactly in the right position to safely do a flip out of it, so she bailed on her vault. So happy she's not hurt.
Yeah, certainly first and foremost there, and obviously that will be the vault that Southern Connecticut State will hope to drop. They've got good veteran vaulters in these final positions to try to do just that. Back over to floor, Isabella Feltman up second for Greenville.
Opened up her routine with a 2.5 twist.
All right, moving along over on beam, Madeline Viles up third.
Wow, that was a really unique series and super difficult. She did a round off into a back layout. A lot of times you'll see athletes do a front aerial into their series or start with a back handspring, but rarely a round off.
All right, back screen, full screen to Viles here, who's getting set up for her dismount.
Bridgeport should be happy with that routine.
It's going to take some big numbers here for Bridgeport if they can catch up to SEMO. They've got about 5/10 to make up. Gracie Jones trying to keep the Gymhawks out in first place. She's up third.
One thing that SEMO has really tried to focus on this season is taking it one skill at a time. That means finishing your kip before you start your cast, finishing your cast before you start your giant. It can kind of be easy to think about those bigger skills in your routine and skip over those smaller or easier skills. That's where those deductions can rack up, but she did an excellent job over there. Looks super excited for SEMO.
Meanwhile, we had a Yurchenko tuckful for Libby Allen, well executed and good bounce back after the tough vault for Sydney Wilson. So we've got 2 left for Southern Connecticut State. Back over on the balance beam, Hannah Barry, beam specialist for Bridgeport.
Wow, she had to wait until the very last event to do her routine. That can be tough. Starts out with a cool mount. For a lot of these teams, this will be their seniors' last meet, or it will be their last weekend competing. So a lot of their goals is to honor and support their seniors, whether those gymnasts are in the lineup or not. Solid front aerial to jump. Connection over on beam. Looking like a really solid routine over on beam so far for Bridgeport. She seemed like she might be a little bit off on some of her skills, but she covered it up so well so that it barely even looked like a wobble.
Yeah, veteran competitor for Bridgeport. A little issue on the dismount there, and unfortunately fall for Jones on her final pass for Greenville. So a few late issues in those routines as we go back over to vault. Kylie City up 5th for Southern Connecticut State.
Did a full on to a tuck off. Another cool vault. I love to see a good variety of vaults. We've certainly seen that in this meet. We've seen some Yurchenkos, some full-ons, some front tucks. Keeps it interesting.
Ava Johnston now over on the bars for SEMO, trying to finish strong.
Wow, out of that pack salto, she did, instead of doing a pirouette over the bar, she just switched and kind of did a half turn underneath the bar. That's a nice way to avoid having to do a pirouette, which you could get a deduction for if you're not in handstand. That was a huge dismount too.
Yeah, great stuck landing. Nice finish there on bars for SEMO.
They're really trying to focus on just building momentum one routine at a time and focusing on today, not getting too wrapped up in thinking about a national title, even though they have a good shot.
Yeah, they will be a contender tomorrow, all but certainly. Coming in as the second highest seeded team out of the 8 in competition this weekend. Texas Women's the only team in the top 50 at number 48. Teams that offer the equivalent of less than 6 full scholarships also eligible to compete at WCGNICs. This is Abigail Kenny over on the beam.
So we're going to see some great gymnastics this weekend. I live in Dallas, so I've been out to some Texas women's meets, and Centenary being so close, they should bring a little bit of a crowd from Texas.
No doubt.
Energy should be high.
Yeah, they pushed Lindenwood last year in the team final, and they are back to try to win one of their own this season. They've had a bunch of USAG national championships in their program history. Kenny finishes up. It's round off double full.
For Bridgeport.
So they've got one routine left, and we'll see where the dust settles between SEMO and Bridgeport for first in this afternoon's semifinal. All right, last routine of the day for Southern Connecticut State, Brianna Dorr.
Did a Yurchenko full in a tuck position. Wow, Southern Connecticut has really increased their difficulty the last few years on vault. When I graduated in 2018, we might have had 1 or 2 twisting vaults, and they just put up a full lineup of twisting vaults. It shows that the caliber of Division II gymnastics is increasing yearly. These athletes are really talented.
No doubt about that. They've been up in that mid-48 range on vault this season, and as you noted, Kate, really came alive in the second half of this meet when you got to the quote power events. They knocked it out on floor and on vault. So well done. A good finish by the Owls. Not likely enough to get them into the top 2 this afternoon, but some performances they can feel really happy about. Now Bridgeport coming off of a team high 9-8 from Abigail Kenny. This is their last routine in the semifinal. Olivia Imbarlina.
Beautiful connection in that front aerial back handspring series. Got her leap series there. A back handspring to a full and a half dismount with a small hop on the landing. Hit routine for Bridgeport.
Right over on floor, Amara Nelson getting ready to go, and it looks like the judges going to get together on the routine for Ellery Gilmer. Bit of an extra weight here for Greenville. So Southern Connecticut State's score has gone final with the 9.625 for Brianna Dorr. You can see there, bottom right of your screen, 190.9 for Southern Connecticut State.
That's about what they have been scoring all season. They've been in that high 190 or low 191 range. But the high, a season high more so in the 191, the higher end of that.
And you look at
the a really nice vault.
Yeah, Allie Berkeley for Fisk. Great finish to her day as an individual. Still a chance for these individuals to get into the top 5 in these semifinals and advance to Sunday's event, where everyone's an individual, the individual event finals, which are always a lot of fun.
A long pause over on floor. She's just trying to stay loose. Stretch out a bit.
Had a couple of those today. Never easy to deal with, no matter what the event is. Nelson who represented Greenville at the NCGA's Division III National Championships. She had a season high on floor of 9.75 and a season high in the all-around, which was good enough for third place in the nation in the all-around. So we'll get to see her routine momentarily. Back over to bars right now. This is the final competition routine for SEMO, Jocelyn Hernandez.
Started out with some big skills in the first half of that routine. A little bit short on that handstand and her blind full, but a stuck dismount. Oh, she is so excited. Wow, I've been so impressed by them today.
Yeah, they'll be a factor tomorrow night for sure. Excellent meet for SEMO. Got off to maybe a little slower start than they would have liked, but they're going to walk away with first place here in the session number 1 semifinal. See what the final numbers add up to, and now we'll finish with floor. Greenville, a couple of routines left, beginning with Amara Nelson.
Her coaches shared that she's just improved every meet. Some really fun choreography at the beginning. She's incorporating a lot of facial expressions, which make the routine so much more engaging. Another cool acrobatic trick as part of her dance to kind of help her stand out. A good leap series. She hit 180 degrees on those straddle leaps. What an awesome routine. I mentioned that I do floor choreography, and that might be a routine I go and rewatch to get some inspiration. She had a great performance quality and the tumbling to top it off.
Yeah, you can see the way that she has come into form here at the end of the season. As we noted last time in competition, just a few weeks ago at the NCGA's, notched a season high, and this was another great routine from Nelson. We'll see what this one scores. Right now, the high score on floor for Greenville is a 9.55. It's been a bit of a struggle here for the Panthers on floor exercise, but they'll have a chance to finish on a high note with Rachel Miller in the anchor spot. She's gone 9.825 this season for Greenville. And then our last competitor of the day will be Sanaya Rosby, who finishes up in the all-around for Fisk. And we will not have an awards presentation because this is just the first of 2 semifinals. But before we leave you this afternoon, we'll also recap the individual leaderboards. We'll look at the individuals that are in position to qualify for the individual event finals and look at where the team scores stand heading into tonight's competition. Should be right here on Virtius. You can check it out live. Centenary, Texas Women's, Westchester, and Alaska will get things started in the evening session tonight.
I believe this will be Alaska's first appearance in a postseason meet in a really long time, over 10 years, so that has to be super exciting for them.
Another great story. That program on the verge of being eliminated there at the University of Alaska Anchorage, saved and now competing at the postseason level is awesome to see.
Getting started here over on floor for Greenville. Ooh, beautiful leaps. She went past the 180 degrees on that straddle jump. Really went the extra mile there. Helps her stand out. Beautiful second pass, really showing off and having fun with this routine. I've really liked their choreography. They've got a lot of cool extra dance moves and acrobatic elements that kind of make them stand apart from some others. And some great tumbling to finish out that routine.
Well, nicely done there by Rachel Miller. That's our final routine of the team competition. We will have one more on floor. It will be Sanaya Rosby to finish things off for Fisk. You saw the score come up for Amara Nelson. Before Miller was a 9.75, so she's now matched her season high in back-to-back meets here, really peaking at the right time. All right, and as we wait for the scores to come in, Rosby waiting. Her day today started with a 9.675 on vault, 9.7 on bars, 9.8 on beam. So let's see if she can keep that pattern going and build here on floor. Season best 9.775 on this event.
As a last competitor, you have a lot of eyes on you, and I personally loved that when I was competing. I felt like it kind of added pressure to make me perform at my best, so, and really get to show off my routine, bigger audience. Start out with a front double twist. Had a little bit of a landing issue, but was able to fight through it. Beautiful leaps that hit that 180-degree mark. Wow. Good routine there. Awesome way to finish out her day.
And that will also finish out our day as well. Session number 1 of the semifinals is in the books, and you can see the team scores in the bottom right. Southeastern Missouri will take first with a 193.875. Bridgeport second, 193.325. Southern Connecticut State third, 190.9, and Greenville fourth, 187.875. So No change in the projected seed order. SEMO came in seeded first. They finished first, but a lot of exciting gymnastics, and we're just getting started with an exciting summer of gymnastics coming up. We want to remind you that you can buy tickets for upcoming USAG meets, beginning with the US Classic, which will be held July 18th and 19th in Chicago, Illinois. It is the final qualifying event for the 2025 Xfinity US Gymnastics Championships, which will be held later this summer in August in New Orleans. So you can get your tickets by going to usagymclassic.com, and then those Xfinity US Gymnastics Championships, always a great weekend. The men on Thursday, August 7th and Saturday, August 9th. The women on Friday, August 8th and Sunday, August 10th. 4 days of great gymnastics action at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. You can get your tickets at xfinitychampionships.com. So big summer ahead for our title sponsor, USA Gymnastics. And we want to remind you also that Hygo Apparel is a pioneering force in the realm of gymnastics leotards and apparel, setting the bar for excellence and innovation. Check out their website at hygoapparel.com, and you can order the official leotard of the Women's Collegiate Gymnastics National Invitation Championship, 7 Central again, and then our individual event finals, always a great time on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. So look at the final rotation here, Kate, as Southern Connecticut State finishes strong, but SEMO, the story in the second half of the meet, they came from behind and ended up putting some distance between themselves and Bridgeport for a first-place finish. Is very solid throughout this meet, and they will be one to keep an eye on tomorrow night for sure.
Yes, if SEMO and Bridgeport want a shot at that title, they've got to hit some of their routines like they did today, but clean up those smaller deductions like their landings and their handstands on bars. But overall, they looked very good today. Room for improvement, though.
Yeah, a couple of individual season highs, and we're looking for some team season highs tomorrow night if they can put it all together, as Southeastern Missouri finishes in first, Bridgeport second, Southern Connecticut State in third, and Greenville in fourth. So that is your event summary. Let's look event by event. And again, today is the significant day because this is the qualification to the individual event finals, top 5 and ties. You can see on vault, Taylor Engel, who also competed in the all-around for Southeastern Missouri, takes first with a 9.825. Allie Berkeley, Nova Starick, Jocelyn Hernandez, and Lola Sepulveda in the top 5 here, representing SEMO, Bridgeport, and Fisk. Allie Berkeley, how about that, Kate, as an individual? Not easy to come here and compete without your team, but she scores a 9.8 on vault, and she'll be in the individual event finals on Sunday. On bars, Taylor Engel once again at the top, part of her terrific day. She takes the bars honors and will advance to Sunday's final. Ava Johnston, her teammate, and Gracie Jones will join her there in the top 5. You also have Ashley League from Greenville representing the Panthers, making their first appearance in the championship. She'll be part of the individual event finals on Sunday. Sanaya Rosby, who is in the all-around, will qualify on bars as well, and Abigail Kenny in there for Bridgeport. So that is your bars leaderboard at the end of the first semifinal. On beam, Taylor Engel again, 9.825. 3 for 3 so far for Engel. Tie for second, Sanaya Rosby from Fisk. Getting into the individual event finals on another event, Abigail Kenny. Another event for Bridgeport, Jaden Kossuth for SEMO, and then Gabriella Diniso for Southern Connecticut State. You know, they had some struggles on beam, but the highs were very high, and Diniso, one of them there with a 9.775, will get to represent the Owls on Sunday as well. And then last but not least of the individual events, floor exercise, Libby Allen with the top score for Southern Connecticut State, part of that great floor rotation they had. Southern Connecticut State will be represented by Libby Allen and Erica Beyer. You have Abigail Kenny and Margaret Coyle for Bridgeport. Taylor Engel, who was spectacular throughout this meet. 3 first-place finishes and a tied for second with a 9.8 on floor. Erica Beyer as well, as we noted. So stacked leaderboard there with 4 9.8s and a 9.85 on floor exercise. And this is where we stand in the all-around. Taylor Engel, 39.225 in the all-around. Abigail Kenny second, 38.950. Sanaya Rosby competing as an individual in the all-around, 38.9. And, Kate, that's part of what will be decided tonight in the second semifinal. These all-around scores will get counted directly against the all-around scores in the evening final tonight, and we'll see if that 39.225 can hold up. But Taylor Engel could be going home with some individual hardware herself as an all-around national champion.
Yeah, she was definitely a standout this session, and her scores will be needed to get SEMO to have a shot at that national title tomorrow. She's a super strong athlete.
Once again, here are your final team scores. Southeastern Missouri takes first in the afternoon session, 193.875 for the Jimhawks. Bridgeport in second, 193.325. Southern Connecticut State in third with a 190.9. And then in fourth, Greenville making their first appearance here at the WCGNIC. They finish with a 187.875. So that's where things stand at the end of semifinal number one. We are just getting started here in Shreveport. The second semifinal coming up in just a few hours. 8 Eastern, 7 Central. We'll be back with you. And all this weekend, Virtius is your home for the WCGNIC Championships. We've got your team final tomorrow night, individual event finals on Sunday afternoon, and a lot of fun coming up from the Gold Dome. But it's going to do it for us here. For my partner, Kate Aberger, I'm Kevin Copp. For our entire Virtius team, thanks so much for being with us here this afternoon, and we'll see you for semifinal number 2 back at the Gold Dome tonight.